Good morning, everyone!
We're getting better at saying good morning in sync. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, I'm Paolo del Rosario. Welcome to another episode of It's a Beautiful Day, and we are thrilled to be here with you.
Hello there, I am Anne Asis-Carilo. We are so excited to bring you another day filled with positivity, inspiration, and a whole lot of fun.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Let's make today beautiful together. Stay tuned for some amazing stories, great conversations, and a sprinkle of joy.
You know, I am concerned. This is our first episode without a dog in like 2 days.
I'm sad.
I'm a bit
I'm
sad.
missing the dog.
I'm like, where's my furry friends? It feels awkward. We should have a dog every day.
Yeah, we should have therapy dogs in the studio.
Yeah,
right?
we need therapy dogs.
I feel like in
Absolutely.
all offices, that should be implemented actually.
Yes.
Yeah, but
It's
you
a
know
must.
what? Even though we don't have our furry friends with us today, we still have a great show ahead. But first, let us start off with some of the hard-hitting news as of today. Former Department of Budget and Management Procurement Services, or PSDBM, Undersecretary Lloyd Christopher Lau, who was implicated in the COVID-19 Pharmaly scandal, has been arrested in Davao City. CIDG Chief Leo Francisco, confirmed this on Wednesday. The former budget official was tagged in the Pharmaly scandal, where he and 12 others were found liable for graft for the purchase of more than 4 billion pesos worth of RT-PCR COVID-19 test kits in 2020. The Ombudsman in May affirmed its resolution recommending graft charges against Lau and other government officials due to irregularities in dealings they entered with Pharmaly Pharmaceutical Corporation. Senator Riza Ontiveros, who participated in the Senate probe on the Pharmaly scandal, welcomed Lau's arrest.
Music Attorney Lau, oras na para harapin mo ang mga kaso laban sa'yo. Ngayong nasa kamay ka na ng batas, aminin na rin sana kung sino nga ba ang mga big boss na may pakana at nakinabang sa korupsyon sa bilyong-bilyong COVID-19 funds.
After the arrest of former Budget Undersecretary Lloyd Christopher Lau, who is linked to the Pharmaly scandal, former Senator Richard Gordon said it's time to go after ex-President Rodrigo Duterte, whom he deems as the root of the corruption mess during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. In an interview on BNC's Agenda, Gordon, who led the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee investigation during Duterte's term, said that Lau, who was arrested in Duterte's hometown of Davao City, is only the small fry. He adds that authorities must go after the, quote, enabler of the massive corruption scheme.
Sandamakbak na korupsyon ang nangyari dyan at dapat mahabol ang punot dulo hanggang kay President Duterte, who was the enabler, in my opinion. Hindi mangyayari yan kundi niya pinalipat yung pera, siya ang nag-appoint kalalawa sa Kalaliong, siya nagutos kay Duque na ilipat yung pera sa Department of Health, at yung kanyang kanang kamay na si Michael Yang, ang siyang nangangasiwa, nagdadala ng pera doon para kunyari makabili.
The Ombudsman found Lau, former PSDBM Group Director Warren Rex Leong, and 11 others accountable for the purchase of 47.6 billion pesos worth of RT-PCR COVID-19 test kits in 2020 from Pharmaly Pharmaceutical Corporation in 2020.
A House committee on Wednesday launched a new investigation into the alleged misuse of Department of Education funds during Vice President Sara Duterte's term as secretary, which the second highest official described as a smear campaign ahead of the 2028 presidential elections. The House of Representatives Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability launched an investigation into potential exploitation of the department's projects, including the counter-distribution of computers to students. The investigation, which was authorized by the House Rules Committee, began following Representative Jervil Luistro's protest on September 10. The Vice President defended the probe, claiming it was an attempt to undermine public support for her in the 2028 presidential race.
Dito, very obvious yung kanilang ginagawa na nagpa-practice sila o anong gagawin nila. Nagpa-practice sila kung ano yung kakagat sa impeachment. Kahit anong gawin nila, wala talaga kaming ginawang mali sa Office of the Vice President.
In other news, with BRP Teresa Magbanwa out of commission, a former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court urges the Marcos administration to reconsider United States' offer to assist the Philippines' resupply mission in the West Philippine Sea. On BNC's agenda, retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio bears what China plans to do with the country's Coast Guard vessels.
Ang posisyon ko, yung offer ng US to escort our resupply ship, tanggapin na natin. Dahil ang plano ng China, iraram yung ating mga Coast Guard vessels hanggang maubos ang Coast Guard vessels natin, wala na tayong Coast Guard na magpatrol sa West Philippine Sea.
BRP Teresa Magbanwa left the Scottish Shoal over the weekend after 5 months of guarding the outpost. The vessel sustained damage after it was rammed by a Chinese Coast Guard vessel, among other reasons. It needs to undergo repair. The Philippine Coast Guard assured Filipinos that another vessel will be sent to guard the disputed Escoda Shoal, but Carpio raised some concerns as to which ship will be deployed.
Dalawa lang yung malalaking Coast Guard vessels natin, yung BRP Melchora Aquino at saka yung Teresa Magbanwa. Nabutasan na yung Teresa Magbanwa, so iisa na lang yan. It takes about 6 months to repair. So pag wala na yon, pag nabutasan yung isa pa, wala nang malaking barko tayo doon. Ang hirap, pag maliit, hindi pwede tatagal doon sa Escoda Shoal. It will have to be replaced quickly, no? So yun ang problema natin. So we must it's time to already accept the offer of the US.
In August, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Chief Admiral Samuel Paparo Jr. said American ships could escort Filipino vessels on resupply missions, but the Pentagon reported that the Philippines insisted that it will be the, quote, lead for its own operations. U.S. extended the offer after PCG vessels BRP Bagakay and BRP Cape Engaño suffered structural damage after a China Coast Guard vessel rammed the two ships near Escoda Shoal last August 19.
Meanwhile, Senator Francis Tolentino proposes to lease frigates from other countries instead of procuring them to strengthen the country's presence in the West Philippine Sea. According to the senator, it is more convenient and will cut down costs, noting that the purchase of frigates will not only cost a big sum, but it will also take more time, whereas taking a lease will speed up the process. He adds that this practice is already done in countries like France and the United Kingdom. While the senator has not formally proposed this to any law enforcement agency yet, he mentioned its feasibility through Republic Act number 9184, or the Government Procurement Reform Act, which states that procurement shall also include the lease of goods and real estate. He also returned to a proposal he raised in July that the Philippine Navy and the Philippine Coast Guard should have a floating hospital, even a small one. The proposed floating hospital will respond to medical emergencies at sea, like injured soldiers or sick fisherfolk. It will be the first to respond to areas hit by calamities, which he says is more needed now due to the continuous bad weather. In entertainment news, Disney Plus revealed Wednesday that actor Joshua Garcia will voice Lance/Blade in the Filipino dub of Inside Out 2. Joshua will play a dramatic anime hero whom lead character Riley had a crush on. The announcement came a day after a tease where fans guessed correctly that it would be the young heartthrob to play the role. The Filipino dub of Inside Out 2 will be available on Disney Plus September 25th.
Isa pa with all the feels. Catch me as the voice of Lance/Blade on Inside Out 2. Also available in Filipino dub. Soon on Disney Plus.
Well, time now for some sports news. A resounding bounce-back victory for Barangay Ginebra in the PBA Governor's Cup. After suffering a 49-point defeat to the San Miguel Beermen, the Gin Kings crushed the Phoenix Fuel Masters Wednesday at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. Final score 112-96. Big game for RJ Abarientos, with the Ginebra rookie leading the way with 24 points. 4 other Gin Kings scored in double-digit figures, including Japet Aguilar and Scotty Thompson, who combined for 41 points. Ginebra now has a record of 6 wins and 3 losses in Group B. Up next for the crowd favorites, the MX Road Warriors, on Sunday, September 22 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. You know, going back to what we saw a while ago, congratulations to the dubbing community of the Philippines.
Yes, and as our senior dubbing person here.
This is such a proud moment for the Filipino dubbing industry. The spotlight is not just on these Filipino celebrities that are asked to voice characters in these big films, but also the people behind the scenes, the voice actors that, you know, the public doesn't really know about, right? And they're given that spotlight. And it just shows how talented the Filipino dubbers are.
And you're one of them, and we're proud to have you here for sure.
That's why we love your voice.
I mean, you definitely have the voice for it, but then, you know, Joshua Garcia being part of this as a Lance Slashblade in Inside Out 2, you know, just a reminder that he's not the first Filipino dubber to be a part of Disney, and it's just hopefully more and more come on as well.
Yes, and not just the celebrities. You know, like I said, we have all these other voice actors. Hindi sila kilala, but they are so good. I'm telling you, and it's not just the voice; it's also the acting skills.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
It's a lot of acting, and I can't wait to see you possibly maybe Inside Out 3. Just a little plug for Anne. Please
we're going to be pulling for her for sure. Now, we've got more stories for you later on in the show. A local publishing firm aims to make reading more accessible through decodable textbooks. We find out more about this latest project after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
It has no authorization.
We hope and pray that it will not.
Right. Thanks for having me here.
Our frustrated
By myself, basically.
We always say that.
It depends.
A well-concerted effort.
Perhaps I can reiterate.
My greatest beefsteak. Iba pa tayo.
Welcome to Pathways to Success, a program that supports micro, small, and medium enterprises. I'm Mai Rodriguez.
We are giving spotlight with this innovative business enterprises that shares growth in our community. We support giving these entrepreneurs a chance to fuel their business and be known in the market. Take a look inside their stories, challenges, and success.
The more you learn, the more you earn. For more inspiring stories here on Pathways to Success, here on the Billionario News Channel. Good morning, I'm Rain Musni, and welcome to Follow the Money. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey.
Harness the power of your money so it can take you where there is growth, where there is investment, where there is freedom. Rain Musni sits down with the experts to know where your finances is taking you. Weekdays, 10:30 a.m. on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
The World Health Organization declares the rapid spread of Mpox in African countries a global health emergency. Mpox was declared a public health emergency of international concern.
We have this just in. The Philippines confirms its first case of the new Mpox variant. The health department says the case was reported to the agency on Sunday, first since the World Health Organization declared Mpox a public health emergency of international concern.
To BNC for more top-of-the-hour news.
Billionario News Channel, always on top.
Your safety is on top of everything. Here are some important numbers in times of emergency. Public service reminder from Billionario News Channel. Always on top.
Hello and welcome back. You are watching It's a Beautiful Day. A publishing firm aims to help develop the literacy of young readers by releasing the first locally produced decodable textbooks. To tell us more about it, we have live in the studio Allysa May Santos, the brand manager of Lampara Publishing House. Hello, Ally. Good morning and welcome to the show. You know what? I'm curious. Decodable books.
Yeah.
So what is this all about? And ano yung age na tina-target nitong mga decodable books na ito?
So basically po, yung decodable text, meron siyang sinusunod na phonic codes and sequence po siya. For example, dun sa Magbasa Tayo, we have 2 series kasi under this launch po. Yung Magbasa Tayo, we have Marungko Approach, and Let's Read, we have Systematic Phonics. So itong mga Marungko po ito, yung meron siyang sequence of letters na sinusunod.
Okay.
So tinuturo siya systematically para sa beginning readers po siya.
So mga kids?
Yes, well, initially it's for K to 3, meaning sa kinder to grade 3. Pero it really depends po sa reading capacity and capability ng children kung ano yung level nila.
Oo, kasi iba advanced, right?
Yes po, and some naman po ay medyo delay.
You know, we were talking a while ago kung bakit kailangan ng decodable books. Kasi sa Pilipinas, mataas yung literacy rate natin. In other words, people can read. Pero you were talking about something else about the level of reading dito sa Pilipinas.
Based dun sa datos na nakuha natin from PISA or yung Program for International Student Assessment, mababa yung creative or imaginative thinking skills ng Philippines, which is saan ba natin nakukuha sa pagbabasa.
Right.
Diba? So yun po yung parang yung nakita natin sa datos. And ito yung naging action natin. Ay yung tugon natin dun sa problem is which is yung leveled reading. Kaya siya tinawag na leveled reading books po. It's separated into level A to E. So from level A, pahirap yung difficulty niya tumataas habang tumataas yung level po niya.
Okay. You know what, we were talking earlier about how some letters of the alphabet, yun yung unang nagagrasp ng mga kids. I didn't know about that. Akala ko like all the letters in the alphabet, you teach them to your kid, diba? And then they learn it. Yung pala, there are particular letters.
For example, dun sa Marungko Approach, which is yung Magbasa Tayo, may sinusunod na sequence of letter na, for example, M, S, A, I, O, B. So ito po, dinevelop siya sa Marungko na ganito kasi ito yung mas frequent na letter sa Filipino language. So it's from frequent to least. So kung mapapansin niyo dun sa last part na sequence of letter, yung mga consonants na V, X, V na yung mga nakikita doon. Meanwhile, doon naman sa systematic phonics, for example, sa level A, ini-introduce pa lang yung letters. Then from the next level, which is level B, meron tayong tinatawag na CVC words. Ito yung mga 3-letter words, for example, consonant, vowel, consonants. Pat, cat. So, ganun na po yun. Hanggang sa dulo, meron na tayong consonant blends, pahirap na ng pahirap. Yung mga BL, BR, CL, tapos may diphthongs na rin sa dulo. So, depende talaga siya sa ano.
Well, nakita natin, well, at least basta sa material na pinapakita natin ngayon, na hindi lang Filipino, English din, English reading. Ganun importante yun na medyo bilingual yung approach natin sa pagbabasa.
Based din dun sa mga nabanggit ng author natin na si Sir Victor tsaka si Ma'am Daisy, magkaiba din kasi. Si Victor po, Villanueva, siya po yung sa Filipino, and si Ma'am Daisy Calado po sa English. Either dito, kahit alin dun yung masimulan nila, kunwari masimulan nilang mabasa yung Filipino muna, yung marungko, or kahit masimulan nila ng systematic phonics, it's okay.
Okay.
Kasi, either way, matututunan nila yung beginning reading. So, pag nabasa na nila yung level A, kaya na nilang basahin yung level A ng marungko. So, ano naman siya, interchangeable.
So it's really just the same approach, different language lang
Different
siya.
language, different stories po.
So the target talaga, which is to develop the reading skill of the kid, yun ang fino-focus na itong mga decodable books. And then you mentioned also a while ago how interactive these books are. Kasi the visuals are in black and white, tapos pwede nilang kulayan.
Yes po.
Right?
Yes po. So, yun din yung isa sa mga benefits na makukuha nila. Kung makakapagbasa sila, syempre kailangan din nila ng other activities na magagawa doon.
Right.
So, hindi lang nahahasa yung reading and comprehension nila, pati yung creative and
imagination.
Yes po. So,
Yeah.
kaya yung illustrator, parang pinag-usapan nila doon sa company namin na parang imimik yung doodles ng mga bata. So that mas familiar yung bata kapag binabasa nila yun. Hindi parang hindi familiar sila doon. So, ito yung palagi nilang nakikita.
So, itong sample nun, you mentioned the illustrations, mga doodles na nakikita ng mga bata. And I love the color, I love the process that goes through. Kapag binibili ito, does it come in sets? Does it come in individual books? How do people go about purchasing yung sets na to?
For the whole package po, both English and Filipino, we have 300 books. For Magbasa Tayo or Marungko, which is in Filipino, we have 150 books. Separated siya. So, for each level, meron tayong 30. So, 150. Doon naman din sa English, ganun din po. So, pag binilan na yun, 150 books per language. So, ganun po. 30 books per box. Then, we have 5 sets.
So, it comes in levels. Ano yung clientele mo? Is it normally school? Is it concerned parents? Who normally purchases yung mga sets ninyo?
Usually, kasi since kaka-launch lang din namin nung September 11 sa MIBF, Manila International Book Fair, halos lahat talaga. Lahat talaga. Initially, ang mga, syempre, yung mga reading advocates, yung mga sa reading association, libraries, schools, yun yung mga usually. Pero may kita mo, pati parents, super interested sila.
Right,
Kasi ngayon po, marami din tayong mga homeschools na. So, yan na rin yung isa sa mga materials na ginagamit nila for reading. Kasi even though for teaching din tong books, pwede din siyang pang reading independently, kung kaya na nila magbasa mag-sarili.
Yes.
So, hindi naman din mahaba yung text kahit dun sa English at Filipino, so kayang-kaya nilang basahin.
And this is the very first of its kind na ma-launch sa country, no? The decodable textbooks. And it's a big help, no? Not just for teachers, but also for parents na gustong matuto agad magbasa yung mga bata, diba? So there's a level talaga that they need to go through. And it's a big help also that the graphics that you use, yung parang talaga drawing ng kids, no? It's very relatable.
Can you tell us a bit more about yung stable nyo ng mga authors na nagko-contribute ng mga stories? How do you find them? How do they come in and make sure na tama yung approach nila?
Yes po. So, kunwari po, nasa amin yung manuscripts from the writers. Meron kaming pool of illustrators. Merong mga veteran na sa dati na namin nakatrabaho. And meron din kaming pool na list ng illustrators na mga bago na nahanap namin. So, lagi kami nagpupunta sa mga events. For example, Pick-Off, Comiket. So, doon kami naghahanap ng mga illustrators. From there, tinitingnan namin yung mga styles nila. Then, pinapasubok namin sila ng character studies and tinitingnan namin kung ano yung mag-fit sa story. Siyempre, with the approval din po ng author po yun. So, once na okay na yun, magpo-proceed na kami dun sa instructions ng authors. Usually, may instructions yung author kung paano nila gustong i-interpret yung mga kwento.
Grabe, I love the art style. I love, like, if you go through all the books, iba rin yung writing style din nila eh. Yung iba, may parime, yung iba mas makwento. You take a look at the impact that you've had so far. Alam ko, medyo bago lang kayo. Pero have you already seen the impact of, siguro, the younger readers in terms of yung interest nila sa mga libro?
ibigyan ko ng halimbawa nung sa MIDF, no? Makikita mo talaga na sila mismo yung kumukuha ng books na gusto nila.
The kids?
Yes po,
Okay,
sila
that's
yung
so
nagbabrowse
nice. Yeah,
talaga.
yeah.
So, malaking factor talaga na very appealing sa mata ng bata yung illustrations. And from there, sila na yung bahala mag-turn ng page sa kanila kung ano yung gusto nilang basahin. So, I think, mahalaga din na very interactive din yung itsura ng book, very appealing, pati rin yung text mismo. Madaling basahin at may kayang i-develop yung creative mind ng bata.
Gusto ko very modern din, may duck din dito. It really fits the kids these days. But it's not just the big books, may mga maliliit rin for different readers.
At saka,
for sure.
you know what I like about this? Kasi growing up, tayo, no, Pao.
Tayo?
Growing up tayo, di ba, Pao? Parang we were exposed to mga princess, the stories, right? The fairy tales.
Absolutely. And sorry, Anna, to cut you off, pero just to show everyone, kanina pinakita natin mas malaking books, of course, for the less developed readers, mga bago pa lang.
Ito ibang level
ito,
na.
tignan mo to.
Smaller font na rin siya.
A lot smaller, mas narrative-based, and of course, the artistic flair nandito pa rin.
Yes po.
Ibang klase. I really enjoy that. Gaano ka importante yung project na to for you in terms of the support that you're getting? Kasi, syempre, this is still relatively new. I remember growing up, back when I was going to school, dati may mga those big carts na may mga maraming stories. I forgot what they called them. But then, how important is it na may parang Pinoy version tayo nito?
Mahalaga po na nakikita ng kids yung sarili nila sa mga binabasa nila.
Yes. Di ba nga, the stories kasi are so relatable.
Yes,
Their emotions, di ba? The experiences that these kids actually have, di ba?
Tsaka curated din sila dun sa experiences nila dito sa Philippines. Kasi usually daw, as per dun sa mga authors, foreign materials yung kinagamit nila. So, hindi nila nakikita yung sarili nila. Halimbawa, dun sa ibang kwento, may kwento sa Santos, merong kwento sa Makahiya. So, mas locally approach yung
Mas naiintindihan
ito nga,
nila
lampin
talaga. Oo nga, diba? Thank you so much, Ali, for joining us today. Dami namin natutunan, no? And our viewers will definitely want to order these online,
How
right?
can they do it? How can they support you and follow Lampara Books?
You can follow Lampara Books on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And you can order our Magbasa Tayo and Let's Read series on our post soon. So you can pre-order all the sets po.
Okay, good. Gusto ko yung soon kasi wala pang date eh. Pero ma'am, salamat, Ali. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ali. Now, up next, we speak to a Filipino fashion designer whose mammoth talent conquers the Big Apple. Catch us as we talk about the successful run of Filipinxt, where Filipino designers made New York runway their very own. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Right behind me is a giant piece of artwork. It's like 50 meters long. It's anamorphic, so it can only really be seen from one position. And it's of a girl holding the earth for Earth Day. And the words are vote for climate, vote for our future. And really she's smiling, so she's optimistic because this year it's the UK elections and it's an opportunity for us to make a real difference to our children's future. Because by voting for climate in mind, you're also voting for health because the air would be cleaner. We're voting for prosperity because everything's going that way now. So we really need to invest in those things. So it's a bit of a no-brainer really. So we're just trying to encourage people to vote with climate in mind and also just to vote as well this year. And that would be marvellous. So to make this picture, first of all, I had to convince my daughter to help us out, and so she's modelling here. And once we got past that, it's then making a drawing and then mapping it out. And there was a team of 10 of us. There's 10 of us over 3 days. And then we're using football pitch paint and sprayers to basically spray the image. It survived the rain a little bit, and it'll be here for probably another week, I would say.
It doesn't seem to be a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And then there's the speed and the intensity that come into play. Who's going to benefit and how do investors position themselves? As an equity analyst, how central are these decisions to your analysis?
Get the latest on the economy and the financial markets, down to each basis point.
We begin with the Philippine peso further strengthening against the US dollar.
Basis Points with Mikey Oreta, weekdays 9:30 a.m. on BNC.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. A celebration of genuine Filipino talent in New York City as Filipinxt fashion show showcased the spring and summer collection of designers from the Philippines. Both a spectacle and a success, we get a word from the producer himself, decorated and accomplished fashion designer Bessie Besana. Good morning here, Bessie, and good evening there. Thank you so much for making time.
Of course, for you, Mo, and for Billionaire, and for the show.
Thank you. How is the Big Apple?
It's getting colder, so we're getting into fall. So I'm wearing my jacket nowadays, and it's fun because we just finished New York Fashion Week. It was a very successful run for all of us here.
Yeah, and congrats on the very successful run. Can you tell us about how it was, your experience with producing the show?
It was very interesting to actually produce Filipinxt because it's the first of its kind to actually bring Filipino designers to New York City and be part of the mainstream New York Fashion Week. And initially, it really started, with my personal need to showcase my designs. But eventually, I realized that there's a lot of opportunity for other designers as well. So nag-invite tayo ng mga iba pang Filipino designers, and it became a thing. And now it's a bigger platform for all designers, all Filipino designers, to come to New York City and showcase their works.
Bessie, what are your takeaways from representing the Filipino talent to the international stage?
It's very interesting because I feel that nowadays there's really a need for a Filipino representation in the fashion scene, specifically in the art scene. And I feel that if we could be the avenue for the designers to showcase their work internationally, and that would be fabulous for everyone. Kasi ang daming talented na Filipino designers, and they need to step out of the country to also showcase their talent.
Now, Bessie, I want to talk about your own work. I was honored enough that during my stint in Miss World, you actually dressed me. So now I can say I'm official Bessie Besana model. But can you talk about your bridal collection? I know you've dressed Pia Wurtzbach, and her dress was beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, so bridal's always been my bread and butter as a designer. It's also my interest. So it's very natural that when I moved here in the US and in New York, this is the field or the niche part where I am venturing into. I always see that the women that are, the Bessie Besana bride is somebody who's a little bit bold, a little bit more daring, a little bit somebody who wants to step out of the box. And I think that's very eminent with the collection that I presented in Marry Me at Marriott and in Filipinxt.
Yeah, you mentioned Marry Me, Bessie, and of course, I just wanted to know a bit about your creative process, your thrust towards that. Ano yung intention mo with your collection for the Marry Me bridal fashion show? Could you tell us a bit more about that?
I really get a lot of inspiration from everywhere, specifically with my travels or my interests. So yung Marry Me collection ko talaga, it stemmed from my idea of a woman getting married in Lake Como in Italy. So I was imagining, like, if somebody will come up to me and then she will ask me to make her dress for her wedding, ito yung mga silhouettes or ito yung mga styles that will really that will represent that kind of wedding. And I feel that here in the States we have a very different way of also showcasing our works, and yung mga bridal dresses din dito, iba din yung atake natin dito. The dresses should also travel really well. So kahit i-pack sila sa mga maleta, paglabas sa maleta, maganda pa rin siya. So that's what I presented in the show in Marriott.
You mentioned it a while ago na iba yung approach ninyo, iba yung pag-present. How do you keep it distinctly Filipino though while catering to yung audience mo dun?
I think ang maganda sa mga Filipinong designer talaga, we're very intricate. If you look at our work of art. Lagi siyang may detalye. I think yan yung parang very distinct about Filipino designers. And there are a lot of talented Filipino designers. And I think that what separates us from a lot of the other international designers as well. So I think by using the knowledge that I've also picked up in the Philippines, the intricacy of how we do our work, yun yung parang nadadala ko dito sa New York.
Bessie, speaking of Filipinxt, let's go back to that. What can we expect for next year's Filipinxt with our designers?
It's very interesting. Our next show is going to be in February. We'll still be joining the New York Fashion Week calendar. And we're actually, hindi pa namin na-announce yung list of designers for February, but we have a very exciting list of designers. The last set of designers were majority medyo feminine yung styles. And then for February, we're offering a different flavor of the Filipino talent. A little bit more amplified.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm also curious, did a lot of Filipinos fly to New York actually to watch the fashion show, or were most of them Phil-Ams?
There's actually a mix, and we're very grateful that for the show last September 7, we had a lot of Filipinos who flew from the Philippines. So we have, as you can see in the video, we have Marisa, sa Miss New York here. We also have a couple of politicians that flew in for the show. We also have a couple of celebrities, including Pia, who was in New York for New York Fashion Week. So she made sure na nasama niya sa calendar niya yung Filipinxt. So we had a lot of people who went to the show. It was jam-packed, tuwan-tuwa kami kasi yung mga tao, naubos talaga yung seats, yung iba nakatayo na lang, but they were there, they were supporting all the designers, and they were there for the Filipino talent.
Bessie, how was the foreign reception to Filipinxt? And of course, how does that translate to the excitement going into your show in February?
This is our second show. So our first show was last May 5, and this is our second edition. And because nakikita nila na parang tuloy-tuloy yung ginagawa natin, naririnig na nila tayo, na-excite na sila for February. And we've been getting a lot of inquiries on how they could participate in the February show. And I feel that that is very important because in this field of fashion, consistency is key. Hindi pwedeng isang beses mo lang siya gagawin, then it will be successful or it will be picked up. Talagang kailangan magtuloy-tuloy yung mga shows para makita ng mga tao na seryoso yung Filipinos sa pagdadala ng talent natin from the Philippines to New York.
You know, Bessie, your success is really, really impressive from your studio in Quezon City, and now you are based in New York. Tell us about your journey.
That is very interesting because my move to the US is actually unplanned. I went here for a vacation, and then I was encouraged by my friends to actually stay. So, hindi talaga pinlano yung punta ko ng Amerika. But I was fortunate enough that the United States acknowledged my creativity and my talent. And they gave me or allowed me to stay in the States as a talented individual. So, gusto kong i-share yung gift na yun na binigay sa akin. That's why binuo ko din yung Filipinxt, kaya tinutulungan ko din yung mga Filipino community here.
So, Bessie, are you telling us that we should go on more vacations? Kasi we might end up living in New York or any place like that?
Parang depende sa talent and skill, Pao.
I mean, I wish. About to go to the Maldives and move there. Bessie, you know, I'm so sad that you moved. We were literally just neighbors. We were down the street. Are you there for good, or are you planning to move back here in the Philippines anytime soon?
You know mo, I always tell people na wala namang sigurado sa mundo. So right now, I could see myself here in the interim or in the foreseeable future. But we'll never know. Right now, I'm focused on achieving my personal goals and my goals for Filipinxt here in New York. So for the next few years, I'll be here for sure.
All right, so you mentioned those goals. My question is, what is that big goal for yourself and for Filipinxt?
Ano talaga to, medyo dream ko talaga na maging known brand in the bridal industry in the US. So yun yung isa siguro sa mga personal goals ko as Bessie Besana, as the brand. But for Filipinxt, I really want it to be acknowledged on a more major mainstream channels. I really want like editors of magazines and stores like Macy's or Nordstrom to actually attend our show and pick up the designers that we're bringing from the Philippines so that the representation of the Filipino talent will be more mainstream. Mas mabibili nila yung kakayahan ng Pilipino at mas marami tayong matulungan din kasi yung mga Filipino designers natin, they produce from the Philippines. So it's very important na magkaroon tayo ng export opportunities at some point.
I can't wait for that, Bessie. Congratulations again for such a successful show. And we are so excited to see your future collections as well. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you, guys. Salamat. Thank you, Mo.
Of course. Now from fashion to food. Filipino foodies cry foul after an online publication rolled out the list of worst-rated Filipino foods. We'll have that discussion after a quick break. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
What is your biggest mistake?
My greatest beefsteak.
I wanted to do that before I aura.
Aura.
Yeah.
We shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, the titans of industry.
I'm going to eat healthy. It's expensive. Guess what's more expensive? The hospital.
We're not just talking about success stories here. We're diving deep into their hearts and minds to see what drives them.
Let's go.
Hello po.
We are Industry Beat on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. Get ready, be prepared, get to the latest updates and reports about what's happening in the world of sports. Hosted by the one and only Anton Rojas.
Tune in to the scorecard on BNC weeknights at 10 p.m. because on the scorecard, sports is our business and business is our sport.
On BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
This is Pinky West, and it's a great opportunity.
Corina Sanchez. Pagsasamahin ng isang agenda. Mondays to Fridays, 6 p.m. Only on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day, and now we're gonna go into something controversial. It is a head scratcher for a lot of Filipino foodies after an online publication dropped its list of, quote, worst-rated Filipino foods. Let's check it out here. Now, according to Taste Atlas, balot is the number one on its worst-rated list to the rating of 2.7 stars. Other food items that made it to the top 5, or bottom 5 rather, include the inipit, the pinipig, biko, kinalas, a Bicolano noodle dish made from meat and extracted from pork or beef head. On the other hand, let's go to the top. Sinigang is the top taste on the Atlas. The best rated Filipino foods, the classic sour broth got a 4.5 star rating. Chicken inasal, lechon, leche flan, and bulalo complete the top 5. I'm upset that sisig's at number 9 there. I love my sisig, and of course, lumpiang Shanghai. They're at number 6. So all the films are saying, what?
At least they're in the best-rated list.
Yes.
Violent reaction ha sa balot.
I just want to know what their criterias are.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
How do they judge what's good and
Who
what's
are
bad?
these judges? I want to meet them.
It's very
can they get
subjective.
on our show? Because I want to know. I want to interview them.
Explain this list to us.
It's incredibly subjective. But at the same time, I have to admit, balot does not have a great reputation.
I agree. I tried it, and I
You're
just
not a
can't.
fan. You're not a fan.
I can't with a baby duck. I tried though, so don't hate on me because I tried it. But I see the beak, the feathers. I just can't.
Marami nang galit
but
sa'yo,
that's the
Mo.
best part. That's the best part of the balot. It gives it its
The crunch.
texture. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
adds to the flavor. Yeah, you want that texture in every bite. I mean, I love balot.
Yeah.
So being number 1 on that list of worst-rated Filipino foods, I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah.
This is what we offer foreigners when they visit the country. Balot is like the
you gotta try it.
But
Yes,
we offer it
yes.
to them as more of a challenge rather than as a
Yeah.
delicacy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Of course. It's an acquired taste.
Now, the other ones here, like the inipit, the pinipig, I think all of those are, well, again, some better desserts or sweeter desserts that the Philippines has. As we take a look at the worst rated list here, the other ones we did not mention is suman.
Suman, I love suman. I don't understand.
I love
Filipino
suman.
cuisine pala yung spam silog.
Yes, because Filipinos love their spam like I do.
I
So
know,
I'm
but
upset about that.
Pero yung kilawin at yung pochero, I would fight people over that.
Yeah.
Those are really
Those
good.
are good dishes. That's why I don't understand. And the inipit, I mean, it's not the best dessert out there, but it's really good when you taste it.
It's not 2.9 rated.
But it's a simple cake.
I've never actually had it, so
It's
I'm
just
curious.
a very simple cake, and it's not even bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I love Filipino food. I don't think I would say something was bad in general. But what I'm going to say is that this is all a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of opinion. I know people who would go to war for balut. I know people who would go to war for pinipig, biko, and all of that. But you take a look at this list. Can we also see the best rated food that we saw a while ago?
Sinigang.
There it is. So
Sinigang,
my big question is there any food here for the both of you
That we
is
don't like?
that is not in that top 10 that should have been in the top 10 in your opinion?
Adobo.
No, adobo's there, number 10.
Oh, there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyone.
Kare.
Kare
That's
kare.
my favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of upset that it's not there because it's just like a peanut curry, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people love that.
Yeah, kare kare. I think it deserves a shout as well. I'm surprised. I'm surprised with Lupiang Shanghai being that high.
What do you mean? No, like actually in America, the Phil-Ams, or even just like my American friends, they love lumpia. When they hear, oh my gosh, Monique, you're
Lumpia
Filipino.
Shanghai
Then
in
I
particular.
love lumpia. That's how they say it.
It's funny. Derek is saying something to us. I think he's
I can't hear, sorry.
giving us his favorite foods.
Oh, what's
But
his favorite?
I don't know. We'll get it later on. But then, just taking a look at this, I honestly feel, Mo, I don't know if you agree with me, especially in the United States, wherein Filipino food is still on the rise. It's still not yet at that level of identity, like when you say Japanese food or Thai food
Right.
or Chinese food, right? Like, what do you think it would take for Filipino food to get to that level?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think we just need more marketing because a lot of people, honestly, they don't even know what the Philippines is. I get a lot of questions. You're Filipino? Where's that? And I have to educate them about that. So I think we have to educate, and from there, then talk about our food. So I think that's what it has to take. But we're growing.
We're getting a bit of buzz through ube because people are really surprised
ube craze
with how
is
purple.
Yes,
Yeah.
purple yam. You know what? I think we're getting there because we have all these Filipino restaurants in the U.S. I know Reina in Paris serves like a Filipino Parisian dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I like in the TV series The Bear, they actually featured a Chicago-based Filipino restaurant called Kasama, which is again fantastic as well. Yeah, a bakery.
I want to try.
And then you just go all over, U.S. media, Western media. There are more Filipino food spots coming up. Even in Spain, our very own Rachel Andakis, who's a volleyball player, actually put up a bakery in Spain as well. So there's now all of a sudden an influx of pandesal and all of that in Spain, which is different for them because pandesal, the Filipino pandesal is very different from their own pandesal.
That's right. That's right. The Filipino food, you know what? Super sarap.
Of course.
Like
bias tayo.
I know, it's like we grew up with it. I love it.
Diba? Kaya medyo bias
Because
tayo.
when you go to, like, for example, if you eat Italian food in the Philippines and eat Italian food in Italy, it's different. They always say that ours have more flavor. Yeah.
Well, you take a look at Filipino food and ganito yun eh. For example, there's no standard adobo.
That's true.
It's always different per household.
Yeah, every house is different. Like my adobo sa bahay namin, medyo dry siya.
I love that.
Taga Cavite yung dad ko. So the adobo that they do have is not as saucy as the other types of adobo. So I don't know. I prefer my type of adobo compared to maybe yours.
I like
I'm not
the
quite sure what
one,
you have.
like the adobo silog, where you just take it and you fry it in garlic until it's so crispy and dry with rice and egg. Oh, I'm about to have that today after school.
All right, okay, yeah. No, I mean, everyone has their own different version, but I think that's one of the reasons why also it's not as internationally available kasi tayong lahat may sarili tayong take on adobo right? We all think that, oh no, ours is better, mine is better, or my mom's are better, and all of that. So it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah. We are so creative when it comes to food.
Very.
Different versions of one particular dish.
Lahat ng mga probinsya have their own version.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we wrap up, let's tell the viewers what our favorite Filipino dishes are. Go.
Bicol Express.
Okay.
That's not in the top 10 list. That should be in the top 10 list. Bicol Express. Pwede laing rin. Kasi may kanta rin yun eh. Laing beside you. Alright, so let's go.
Akala ko, and I was lying inside. Adobo and kare-kare for me.
Oh my gosh. Yes, kare-kare is life and lumpia.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it. We all hope that you're a bit hungry after that discussion. Of course, enjoy your breakfast. I know I will after all of this. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. I'm Paolo del Rosario.
And I am Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, every day is a wonderful day when you choose to see it that way.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Until tomorrow, keep smiling and keep spreading the love because every day is a beautiful day.
Health and wellness, it's experimental.
Because I like the idea of a salmon sperm